Holding on too tightly is not a sign of strength. It's the very thing stopping your dreams from becoming reality. We live in a world that glorifies control. We're told that if we just hold on tighter, push a little harder, we'll make it. But what if that's not true? What if clinging to control is actually suffocating the very thing you want to achieve? Think about it. How many times have you tried to force something to happen, only to feel more frustrated and defeated when things didn't go as planned? Control isn't the solution. It's the barrier. At the root of this need for control is fear. We hold on because we're scared. Scared of failure, uncertainty, or that things will fall apart if we let go. But here's the hard truth. By clinging to control, we're not protecting ourselves. We're imprisoning ourselves in a cycle of anxiety, stress, and disappointment. We think that if we try harder, we can bend life to our will. That's not how the world works. The tighter you hold on, the more you push away the very thing you want. Look at history. Thomas Edison's journey to inventing the light bulb wasn't smooth, but it wasn't about forceful control either. He didn't cling to one idea, refusing to adapt. Instead, he surrendered to the process, allowing failure to be part of the journey. Edison once said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." He wasn't desperately gripping control. He embraced trial and error, trusting that persistence would lead him to success. Had he been rigid, we might not have the light bulb today. Or take Steve Jobs, a man known for his relentless pursuit of perfection. You might think Jobs was a control freak, but the truth is, he mastered the art of letting go. He didn't design every product himself. He trusted his team, process, and knew that letting go of some control would lead to better results. His sharp vision, combined with the ability to let go at key moments, helped build Apple into the giant it is today. Now, let's get personal for a moment. How often have you found yourself lying awake at night, replaying every detail in your mind, trying to figure out how to make something happen? Whether it's a relationship, career move, or a personal goal, we've all been there, gripping so tightly that the anxiety consumes us. And what did that accomplish? Did worrying make things better? Probably not. Often, it made things worse. That need to control every outcome drains our energy and clouds our judgment. But surrendering, on the other hand, feels like a breath of fresh air. Letting go might sound scary, as though you're giving up control. But what if surrender isn't about defeat at all? What if, instead of surrender being a weakness, it's actually the most powerful tool you have? Letting go could be the key to unlocking doors you've been trying to force open for years. It sounds counterintuitive, right? Surrendering seems like the last thing you should do when you want something so badly. What if, by letting go, you're not quitting, but freeing up energy? What if you're making space for something even better to come along? Think of it like a river. When you let the current carry you, you flow smoothly and naturally. But if you fight the current, you waste energy and don't get very far. The river doesn't stop flowing just because you let go. It keeps moving, and so do you. So what if today you chose to let go of one thing you've been holding on to too tightly? What if, instead of forcing it, you allowed it to flow naturally? What might happen if, by letting go, you actually moved closer to your dream? We often think of control as a source of security, but in reality, it's a dangerous illusion. The more we try to control everything, the more we limit ourselves. Holding on too tightly doesn't just slow our progress, it blocks it entirely. Imagine holding a balloon. If you grip it too tightly, it bursts. But if you hold it gently, it floats freely. Life works the same way. When we cling too hard to our goals and fears, we end up crushing the very potential we're trying to nurture. At the core of this need for control is fear. Fear of the unknown, failure, or even success. We try to control everything because it feels safe. We think, if I can manage every detail, nothing bad will happen. But the truth is, control doesn't protect us. It traps us. By clinging to control, we block the natural flow of life, which thrives on movement and change. It's like swimming against the tide. No matter how strong you are, eventually you'll exhaust yourself and end up further from where you want to be. There's a psychological phenomenon called misaligned action, where our need for control makes us take actions that work against us. Think of a time when you were so focused on a goal that you couldn't see the bigger picture. Maybe you tried to force a solution to a problem, only to make things worse. That's misaligned action. It happens when our efforts come from a place of fear and desperation instead of clarity and trust. The more we try to control, the more resistance we create, and the universe responds in kind. We create tension in our minds and bodies, and that tension blocks the very energy we need to move forward. It's like trying to catch water with a clenched fist. The harder you squeeze, the faster it slips away. That's life. Success, happiness, and fulfillment flow naturally when we let them. But when we try to control them, they slip through our fingers. You can't force success any more than you can force water to stay in a tight grip. But when you relax your hand, the water stays. When you let go of the need to control every outcome, life flows more easily, and success becomes something you attract, not something you chase. This idea has been echoed throughout history. One of the most profound thinkers on this subject, Lao Tzu, famously said, "By letting go, all things are possible." These words hold a timeless truth. Lao Tzu understood that the path to success and peace isn't through force or control, but through surrender. When we let go of our need to control, we align ourselves with the natural rhythms of the universe, and in doing so, we open the door to endless possibilities. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. Doesn't mean you stop taking action. In fact, it's the opposite. When we surrender control, we create space for inspired action. We move from a place of force to a place of flow. Instead of trying to push the river, we let it carry us. Instead of focusing on every tiny detail, we trust the bigger picture. This shift in mindset can be the difference between constantly struggling and finally experiencing real progress and growth. But here's the thing. Letting go isn't easy. Our minds are wired to cling to what feels safe. We hold on to old habits and beliefs because they give us a sense of control. But just like that balloon that bursts when gripped too tightly, these outdated ways of thinking eventually stop serving us. The fear of letting go can be paralyzing because it feels like stepping into the unknown. Here's the truth. The unknown is where growth happens. It's where life's most beautiful surprises unfold. Think of the greatest breakthroughs in history. They often came when someone dared to let go of conventional thinking, took a step back, and let inspiration flow. Whether it was Thomas Edison testing thousands of materials or Steve Jobs taking a step back to allow creativity to surface, success often requires surrendering to the process. When we stop trying to control every variable, we open ourselves up to new ideas and opportunities we never would have seen otherwise. This is the magic of surrender. It creates space for the universe to work with us, not against us. So if holding on creates resistance, what happens when we let go? What happens when we trust the process and allow life to flow naturally? This is where the real magic begins. Surrendering isn't about quitting. It's about trusting the process and allowing life to flow without resistance. It's about taking inspired action. Action that feels right and comes naturally rather than forcing things out of fear or desperation. Inspired action flows when you're aligned with your goals. You're not pushing, you're moving forward with ease. Compare that to forced action, which comes from anxiety. When you're trying to control everything, it feels like swimming upstream. It's exhausting, and you rarely get the results you want. Think about those times when ideas flow more easily, when you're relaxed. Maybe you've had a breakthrough while on a walk or just before bed. That's when your mind is open and you're allowing inspiration to come. Contrast that with when you're stressed, overthinking, and desperately trying to force a solution. The ideas don't come then, do they? When we let go, inspiration flows naturally. This leads us to the law of detachment. Detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about your goals. It means you stop obsessing over the outcome. It's about trusting that what's meant for you will come at the right time. You still take action, but without fear or desperation. Detachment frees you to enjoy the process, not just the destination. It gives you the freedom to let go of anxiety and trust that things will work out as they should. Mahatma Gandhi said, "The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others." His message shows us that letting go of the need to control everything allows us to focus on something bigger than ourselves. By surrendering our need for control, we open ourselves up to a greater sense of purpose and fulfillment. Detachment helps us contribute to the world in a more meaningful way and accelerates our personal success. So here's a challenge for you. Pick one small area of your life where you've been holding on too tightly. Maybe it's a project at work, a relationship, or a personal goal. For just a moment, release your grip. Stop forcing it. Trust that it will unfold as it's meant to. Take inspired action, not out of desperation, because it aligns with your purpose. Let go of the outcome and see how things begin to flow differently. In the end, letting go is not about giving up. It's about flowing with life, trusting that what's meant for you will come when the time is right. The power of surrender is not in quitting, but in trusting yourself, the process, and the universe. So trust the process, take inspired action, and watch how surrender accelerates your journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.